And for the people of Nakuru, just to assure you, I joined the cabinet 9 months. I cannot sit in a cabinet that does not put Kenya first. So I want to assure you, my eyes are open, and anything affecting Kenya and Nakuru, I'll be there. And I guarantee you, we not only are in the table where all the decisions are made, we also have the ear of the president. And if something is not right, even you as church leaders, you have an opportunity. And specifically, in the whole of Kenya, there is no better place for startup than Nakuru. Correct? I personally saw it. I mean, I had no godfather, I had nobody. This is a place you can come with your rucksack and walk out as a governor, a minister, and nobody knows what else. Correct? In the retail sector, you are aware that Naivas started here in Nakuru. You are aware Nakumat, Stagemat, and all the others. I'm yet to hear of those that started in other places. So there's something about Nakuru and startups. And I want to join you today in saying that for whatever you are doing, all of us who are there exhibiting and doing different businesses, there is a Kenyan culture of trying to show that what you're doing is just small. You know, I have a business, isn't it? I have a farm, I'm trying to, and I think this idea of trying to make whatever you're doing look small tends to undermine the very place you want to go. So if you want to proclaim your business to greatness, you must see it as such, isn't it? And I'm saying that because the steps and what you say of yourself informs how big your vision can be. And I have told you, you can start here and become the biggest player in whatever area you choose to be. And I have no doubt, because actually Nakuru, when you look at the cost of living in Nakuru is one of the lowest actually in the country. When you look at connection to all the entire big towns, Kisumu, Nakuru, Eldoret, Nanyuki, Nyahururu, all those places, is actually the best in terms of connection. So my people who are here and trying to do business here and there, I think you're in the right place. You're in the right? The other unique thing about Nakuru is the multi-ethnic nature of Nakuru. I think this is the only place you can come and irrespective of your home, you feel at home. Not many towns and cities across Kenya give you that feel. And for that reason, those who are in holiday homes, those who want to do education, this is where you can have a school. And anybody from all over Kenya can bring their child to study here. If you're thinking of creating holiday homes for people who can no longer fit in their rural sort of setup, Nakuru, Naivasha, this whole belt is a place to be. And I want to say that as a person who also as part in my community, where you will retire, we put it like, Haria Gejero, okay, where my gray hair will be, and then is actually here. And I know that's where really the future is. Because this is also an agricultural area, Nakuru, Njoro, all these places. First to say that probably Nakuru is the only county you can grow everything except Munazi. I'm sure you know that. Do you grow tea here? Do you grow coffee? Do you grow pyrethrum? Avocado? Flowers? What don't we grow? Munazi and maybe in Mira. But what I wanted to say, if you are in agriculture anywhere, Nakuru is a place to be. Because there's nothing you cannot grow here, from wheat to anything. And I want to challenge you to take any other county in Kenya that has that kind of ticking. You'll go to Nyeri, they probably can grow 1 or 2 crops only. But Nakuru, you can literally grow almost anything and everything. So if you're ever looking for a Canaan in the context of Kenya, where is that Canaan? Where is that Canaan? And I'm saying this because sometimes we sit on huge opportunities, but we have not opened our eyes to those opportunities. So as we move forward, my urge to all of you is the issue of value addition. The difference in value between selling your milk raw and selling it as yogurt is ×3. The difference in you selling your wheat in bags as opposed to selling it as a finished commodity made in Olenguruoni or Njoro and other places is about 2 to 3 times. So why are we throwing money in our hands? So our ministry is here to support you to create small ventures of value addition, so that from the small towns wherever we are, we can say we come and aggregate together, create a small factory and sell. And you have said selling is not just about Nakuru. The whole of Western, even up to outside the country. And I've gone to many places. Last week we were having the COMESA meeting where heads of state from 21 countries had come here so that we can open that whole market. So somebody in Joro or Gilgil will be producing for Malawi and many other countries. And this is a connection we want. The internet we talked about is not just for knowing what politicians said, isn't it? It is for knowing where you can sell your commodity. You want to source some raw material. We use that to know, do I get it from Rwanda, from Kenya, from Turkana? You have fish you want to sell, you want to know where you can do that, and all those opportunities exist. And I'm just trying to say this because one of the biggest challenges we're having as a country is unemployment by our young people. And this is a very serious problem. When you have a graduate in economics, walking on the streets is a border rider, that is something that should worry us. But the only way we can solve that problem is to create opportunities. When you go and start your own small factory in Rongai, employ a food technologist, employ an accountant, employ a marketing person, together we can be able to absorb these young people and create a market beyond ourselves into the future. And as I have said, as government, our role is not just to open your eyes, but also to give you an opportunity to participate in that big whole ecosystem that we want to create. Value addition is the way of the future. I know you've seen some of the things that are written there, the richest people and what they do. Again, I think that's another area I would really want to say that it's always good when you walk around, you should say, if you are a teacher, you should be proud to say you are a teacher, isn't it? You know, we also have come up with very strange millionaires in Kenya. When you ask them what they do and how they got their money, they say, ni nani? Ni nani? Yes, it is God, but God works through industries, through known lines, isn't it? And we need them to come forward, because also when you give your story, you inspire the next generation. You get them to know that you can do this, you can start this value addition, make money, empower your community, and together we move to the next forward. So I think it's important that whatever we do, the story of hygienic butchery, in my opinion, in Nakuru, is a story even kids in school should learn, because it is a story of resilience. I'm there with not too much education in the world, but who goes and buys goats around Mogoti and all those places, opens many butcheries, and now is a household name. Those are the stories we want to hear. I am not saying that God does not make us rich, but it's also good to give the other story. How did he make you? Isn't it? There's been a bit of a missing gap where somebody disappears and the next time he shows up, things are better and he doesn't own that conversation. That is not how we inspire the next generation. Because as Christians, yes, we want to get rich, but we want to get it in the right way and in a way that is also pleasing to the Lord. In closing, I just want to mention 2 or 3 issues about Kenya and some of the policies that have been put by the government and the president for this, in this particular case. We opened Kenya to be visa-free for other African countries. I know some people didn't like that, but I want to tell you this. The favorite destination for investment by the entire East Africa and beyond is where? It's Kenya. This housing we are doing in Nairobi, Mombasa, and even here in Nakuru, don't be shocked to find people from West Africa, from South Africa, from everywhere. And as they come here, what do they bring? They bring what? Isn't it? And you, if you're a developer, now you can be able to do the next development and the other and the other. One small statement that has created opportunities across. Last week, we were holding that regional conference called COMESA, and all of those big dignitaries off microphone, they were asking me, where can I put a shilling in Kenya? So small things that mean a lot. The issue of Kenya, the currency, I know about 1.5 years ago, if you wanted dollars, you couldn't get. The rates were just over the head. But can we agree in the last 1 year, the dollar has remained? And is it available? It is important to ask that question because I know some people are going out of the country tomorrow. They want money. They want to go and buy raw material and machinery. If you don't have the hard currency, can you be able to progress in that area? So again, we availed that foreign currency and it is stable, which means even if you're planning next year, the other year, how much will you be buying your raw materials, at what price, you generally know that there's stability. Now, that may be normal here, but it is not normal across African countries. Most of the other places, you cannot get the currency. And when you get it, it is actually like in a PMO, isn't it? So there are certain things that are going on well. Where things have not happened, I want to assure you, we have a team that is working on that. You remember many years ago, when we used to drive on the matatus, and they would put stickers inside the matatu saying many things. There was one that was written, "Keep cool, professional driver in." On the business desk, I want to assure you, there's a what? And in the next 1 year, I want to assure you, the interest rates in the banks, they were previously at 19, 18. The bankers who are here today will tell you we are around 14. Our target is to bring it down to around 12. At 12, people can borrow, they can build, they can be able to expand their businesses. So from next year, I want to tell you the economic space within Kenya will be transiting to a better place. Some of the wars that made inflation so crazy, like Ukraine and Israel, those wars are almost coming to an end. Just last week, Hamas and Israel signed a peace deal. So the only one remaining is now the one for... Those wars have made business difficult. For the longest time, we could not take our goods through the Red Sea. We had to go all the way down through the Cape to sell to Europe and other places. So, yes, we may not be there, but we are heading where? There. My challenge to many of our Kenyans who go, say, to China and many of these other big countries, we go to buy the machinery. No, we go to buy maybe T-shirts or whatever you want to do, electronics. I think it's a good thing. But you also want to ask, as you go to buy, can you also find something you can take where? Isn't it? Whether it's our coffee, where is our tea, our flowers, our macadamia, our avocado, so that we are not just taking our currency out. We are taking as we bring back into Kenya. And these are the conversations of value addition that you would want to hear from the people of Nakuru and Kenya in general. So we would want to support you. As you go there, maybe instead of buying the T-shirts, isn't it better to buy the machine that makes the what? Instead of buying the electronics, isn't it better we look for the equipment that makes the what? So that next year and the other year, instead of all of us going to those countries to buy those products, other people within Africa will be coming here to buy what? The same product. And this is a conversation we would want. The economy and many other things that affect the business people, as I've said, the horizon looks positive. And this is not just an assertion from myself. Even the World Bank has reviewed its position on Kenya's forecast in the coming year. But as we do that, there is one existential threat that Kenya has had. And I think it's called political. Our only problem is that maybe the world doesn't know the next time you will hold your maandamano, how it will disrupt the business and many other things. And it is for that reason that the president has decided to engage more people so that there can be a political conversation, so that we don't solve our problems on the what? On the streets. If there's a political problem, let it not be solved on the streets, because that way we make our businesses difficult. I remember seeing some of the businesses that were banned, supermarkets and all that. And I want to say, as a leader from Nakuru, even here and Kenya, it pained me. Because it means, when you see that, it means dialogue has failed. So, and I also want to challenge the church. Yes, the political leadership has a role, but also the church has a role. So that we can train our people, bring the interests of the nation together, and ensure that we work together. I want to end by thanking all of you and to assure you that on any matter that requires my attention and support, I'll be there for you. God bless.
First thing is we are here together with the church to see what some of the businesses are doing, and we're impressed at both the innovation and the resilience of some of the businesses that have already started in Nakuru. Also noting that Nakuru has the best startup ecosystem, and we would want to encourage them and also connect them with markets, both within the country and outside the country, and also to share with them programs that are already in existence by government through the Ministry of Trade, Investment and Industry, and also other opportunities that exist in terms of certification, support in industry, and so on and so forth. So we want to thank the church for presenting this forum where now business people can be able to interact and also see how they can create more opportunity. Our problem primarily is how we can employ more of our young people. So the issue of unemployment is very big, and businesses can provide that answer. So we would want to work with them. Secondly is that the government has been engaging commercial banks to try and bring the interest rates lower. Because as you can imagine, at 19%, that is not tenable. So what we want to do is to encourage banks to come down. But I'm happy to know that most of them are at around 14. And our hope would be that we should get to about 12, maybe around February, March, so that more credit can be available for businesses, they can expand, and then they can also be able to employ more people, and together we can absorb more of the Kenyans who are out there looking for opportunities. So I think we remain vigilant, especially for banks, but also to thank those that have already started lowering their interests, because the economy is directly connected to interest rates, because this is really how money gets into the economy. Also noting that a good number of the people have been complaining that there's no money in circulation. So part of the way to inject money into the economy is to lower interest rates so that the money held by banks can now be reinjected back to the same economy. So I think we're in a good place, but we hope much more can be done. We also would wish to bring to the attention, especially of the people of Nakuru, Naivasha, Gilgil, that the dueling of the Rironi Mau Summit project, which is a flagship project by the President and the government of Kenya, is a game changer. The last big project we did was Thika Road at 40 kilometers. This is about 160. So this is literally 4 times more. So in terms of what it will do to the entire economy, in terms of how all these towns around here will become metropolis in the days to come, is a matter that requires both planning and also internalization by the business community, so that we don't end up creating the roads, yet the business people who are supposed now to ride on those roads so that they can create opportunities, build hotels, schools, residentials, and so on, are also in tandem as we move forward. So there's a lot of sensitization required, but I want to say that this is going to be a game changer, not just for Nakuru, but also towns beyond Nakuru, including Eldoret, Kericho, and many others. And we see it as a huge economic boost for the entire region. I think lastly is also to say that I think in Kenya, most of the key parameters seem to be on a positive trajectory. What has been cited repeatedly is obviously what you call political risk. And political risk is just how do you solve your political issues. And I think we must all agree that if we decide to solve our political risks on the roads, we endanger our businesses. Tourism, maybe for the last 6 months, has been on upward trajectory. And because tourists plan a year ahead, when they feel there's uncertainty, they are not going to come. No investor will put their money where they are not too sure whether they'll be able to come or to access their business. So I think the issue of Kenya or the political class resolving their political problems within reasonable limits is something that we really would want to see. And I also want to commend the president for reaching out, because different political players may have different interests, but I think at the end of the day, we must put the nation first. And I think this is really what we want to see. If Kenya can go on this trajectory for the next maybe 2-3 years, we expect to be in a very good place. And I think this is really the message we would want Kenyans to internalize. Thank you.
Maybe what is the Minister of Trade suffer with the impact of the ban of avocado exports across the country?
KEFIS controls the export of commodities, agricultural commodities out of the country. And I think one of the things we do is to try and align the standards required in the destination country with the levels of how ripe it is or how ready it is. So sometimes instead of allowing entry into certain markets and injuring the whole country reputation, KEFIS from time to time will stop exports so that we can get our crops ready. And because sometimes we've also had farmers selling even when before it is ready. And what will happen is that when we send a wrong product out there, it is not that farmer who suffers, it is Kenya as a country. So they will say, avocado from Kenya, macadamia from Kenya has a problem. So KEFIS is doing its job. So I think all we need to do is to encourage Kenyans to grow avocado across the country. So that maybe this month we are selling avocado that is ripening from maybe Muranga and another place. Then Kitale comes at a different time. Then Nakuru comes at a different time. That way we can have ripe crop across the whole year. But because we've not yet been able to reach there are certain times of the year where we need to stop so that we can protect our market for the long run. And we've had cases where farmers have sent their produce and it has had disastrous outcomes, thereby endangering the whole market. So I think it's a delicate balance, but whatever we do is in the best public interests. Thank you.